Welcome students. In this video we will solve quiz 2, which was about multiply and divide monomials. All the questions in the quiz was asking to simplify using the laws of exponents. Let's start with the first question. It was 2 to the fourth times 2 to the third. How can we calculate this? Using the first law of dividing and multiplying powers, we can see that here we have the same base and the multiplication between them. So we can simply write the same base and add the exponents. So we have 2 to the power of 4 plus 3, which will be equal to 2 to the 7th power. This is the first answer. Let's go to the second question, which was 6 to the 5th divided on 6. As we have said repeatedly, any number is written without any exponents is actually with an exponent of 1 to the first power. So here, this 6 here is to the power of 1. And we have the same base here. We can use the second rule, which is the division rule, to calculate this. So we have the same base, we write the same base, and then we subtract exponents. So we write 5 minus 1, which will be equal to 6 to the fourth. What about the third question? The third question was asking to simplify this expression. -2 times a to the third, all of them times 3 times a squared. How can we calculate this? Actually, as we have said, we multiply the similar factors with each other. We have numbers here and we have numbers here. We have variable here and we have variable with the same base here. So we multiply the numbers with each other and the same variables with the same base with each other. So we can rewrite this expression as -2 times 3 times a to the third times a squared. We didn't do anything here. We just rewrite this expression into this form. And now we can calculate. -2 times 3 gives us -6 times, we have the same base here and a multiplication. So we apply the first rule, which is in multiplying powers, which is to write the same base and the addition of its exponents. So it's going to be a to the power of 3 plus 2, and this is equal to -6 times a to the 5th power. What about the fourth question? The fourth question, again another expression. The expression was 6 times y cubed times, divided on 3 times y. Again, we need to rewrite this expression. How can we rewrite it? To simplify, we can write it as the following. We can write 6 times y to the third divided on 3 times y. And then we can simplify this fraction again. So we can divide numbers on numbers and variables with the same base on the variable with the same base. So we can write 6 over 3 as a fraction times y to the third over y. Okay, we distributed this fraction into these two fractions. No problem, since we have the same priorities. So the answer will be 6 divided on 3 gives us 2 times. How can we calculate this? Well, based on the second rule, we can calculate them by writing the same base, which is y here, and subtract powers. And we say, as we said here, this y is to the first power. When we do not write powers, it's gonna be to the first power. So we write 2 times y to the power of 3 minus 1, which gives us 2 times y squared. Or we can simply write 2y squared. Okay? What about the fifth question? The fifth question can be solved directly. It's asking to simplify a to the power of 128 divided on a to the power of 120. We can simply calculate these based on the second rule, which is when division, if dividing powers with the same base, we just subtract the exponents. The same base here, which is a, and to the power of the subtraction of these two exponents, which is actually 128 minus 120. And this will be equal to a to the 8th power. So this is the right answer. Okay. Now, what about the last question, which was 3 to the 4th times x to the 4th divided on 3 times x squared. Simply, as we have said earlier, we can rewrite this fraction in terms of two fractions. We can divide numbers on numbers and variables on variables with the same base. So we can divide them. We can divide them or rewrite them in terms of a fraction of 3 to the 4th divided on 3 times x to the 4th divided on x squared. We divide numbers by numbers and variables with the same base on each other by each other. So we can simply calculate this using the second rule. The second rule of dividing monomials say that if we are dividing two monomials with the same base, we just simply subtract exponents, and the exponents of 3 here, as we have said repeatedly, is to the first power. Any number without any power written on it, it's gonna be to the first power. So we can simply write it as 3 to the power of 4 minus 1 times the same base, which is x, and subtract the exponents, 4 minus 2. When dividing with the same base, we subtract exponents. So the answer will be 3 to the 3rd power times x squared. But this answer is not from the answers written. We simply can calculate 3 to the 3rd, which will give us 3 times 3 times 3 times x squared. So 3 to the 3rd is the same as 3 times 3 times 3, which can be calculated. 3 times 3 give us 9. 9 times 3, yes, 27. 27 times x squared. This will be the answer, which is the second answer from the choices. Thank you very much, guys.